This is Find Your Alpha podcast, and today we are talking creative economy, but in a different way. We're talking legal and all the legal jargons that the creatives don't like to hear. My guest today is the one and the only Foza Fawehinmi, and she is not just an entertainment lawyer, she's a creative economy lawyer. That's a term I've not heard before, but I think I'm going to let her explain that one herself. So thank you for joining me on Find Your Alpha podcast.
Thank you for having me. It's amazing to be here.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Creative economy lawyer.
Creative economy lawyer. Okay, so first of all, why did you make the transition from entertainment law into defining this space now as a creative economy lawyer? How did you make that transition?
All right. So 10 years ago, started as a music lawyer.
Right.
Focused on music. Then, started doing a lot of film work. So I transitioned into entertainment. But right now, I'm principally working on ecosystem building through the law. So also I call myself a creative industrialist, building the ecosystem and the infrastructure of the industry.
On the legal side?
Yeah, from the legal side and also the business side.
Okay.
So for me, it's just I just don't do entertainment because entertainment can be a bit restrictive.
Mm-hmm.
You say music, film, content, some people tell you fashion isn't entertainment, it's creative. But I do I work in all this aspect of the industry from a policy point of view, from an ecosystem infrastructure point of view. So I was just so creative economy lawyer.
So let me try and streamline the conversation in a way, or rather direct the conversation in a way that maybe would be easy to digest for creatives that are listening right now. What would you say? Can you give me three or five lessons that a creative, whether you're a creative entrepreneur or you're a freelancer, whatever it is, what do they need to know when coming into the creative space from a legal standpoint? 3 or 5 lessons, or shall we break it down into different aspects?
So your first lesson is to get a lawyer. Your second lesson is to get an entertainment lawyer.
Okay.
There's a difference, right?
Yes.
Then the third lesson is to listen to your lawyer. Yeah. The fourth one is to pay your lawyer.
Oh my God.
And the fifth one is, just the fifth one. But but it's very serious advice because it's just your lawyer, especially if you get an entertainment lawyer that is good at what they do, they've experienced everything that you don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
So you might say you want 3 years, but your lawyer is telling you for you to get the best deal, you probably have to do 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
But I will structure it in a way where you can leave by the third year if you want to. But by my experience, I've seen that if you're leaving by your third year, you become a relic. Nobody knows who you are. So I will structure the other 2 years that is convenient for conversation.
Right.
So it's like what I just said. You can't. Your money.
You don't know it if you don't know it. You don't know it if you don't even hear it.
Yeah. So it's talk to a lawyer that knows what they are doing, and that's kind of what inspired the Global Creative Legal Summit that we're doing in partnership with the African creative market, which is just I was talking to Dr. Enya and I was like, you guys only invite me. I'm not the only lawyer in the space. But we only know you. So I was just no, that's actually fix the problem. I'm just there are a lot of lawyers that are doing work in the industry, film, music, fashion, and we're all doing different things.
They're all doing different things.
So it's very important that you find. So people had the problem of finding lawyers,
right? Especially
in this industry. So I said, you know what? Let's put it together. And today we had over 250 lawyers. In the one room about the creative industry.
That is really, really huge.
And tomorrow I told them, I was just all right, you know what we're going to do also? You say lawyers are expensive, right? That's the next excuse. Oh, lawyers are not, they're too expensive. They're not approachable. So we said, all right, you know what? We're going to give free legal services throughout the event. And guess who didn't show up?
The creatives. But I think it's a mindset.
Yeah.
I think it's a mindset. Perhaps maybe some creatives feel, look, I don't want anybody to tell me what to do. I'm the creative. I should know what's best for me. And also I think that there is also a lack in understanding why structure is important. And having a system in place is important. I always tell people, as a creative, if brands or corporates are interfacing with you as an individual, they will take advantage of you.
Definitely.
But if they're interfacing with you as an entity, which means that you have a functional, head on your shoulder management, even if it's another person, just the fact that they're interfacing with an entity, they already deal with you differently, regardless of whatever deal they're going to put in front of you. But the way that they interact with you will be different than if they were just talking to somebody that they know, or that's someone that's an individual.
100%. 100%. And but the thing is, like, we're beginning to, the world is crazy now. Like, the artist just sits in his room with a mic. Next thing, the song is global.
Yeah.
And you find yourself in the dungeon where people don't care. They just want to make money. They're not your brothers. In Nigeria, yeah, we're still doing by the time you offend one person, we'll carry all the family elders, we'll kneel down and say forgive him. They don't care about that in the global world. It's a cutthroat market. So it's like, it's 2024, you have no excuse to say you don't want to know, because these rights, you're in the industry, we're trading on rights. You can't see it, you can't feel it. No, you can't see it, you can't touch it. Right? You can only feel it with your senses.
Or experience
it. So the people that understand how to trade those rights are the lawyers. Right? So it's like, you need the lawyers. You need your lawyer to be, let me tell you, it's even as bad as if a creative passes today and you don't have a will, your family is going to suffer. Because before I, as a lawyer, go and get like the letter of administration from the system, it'll probably take me 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And your music is probably making so much money, your family cannot touch it.
So what happens in that space of time? Nothing.
The money is just hanging.
Wow.
Sometimes some people are smart enough, they're able to waylay the money. Then after we've gotten it, we now start fighting. Like, you see all the stress you're putting us through when your family could have just been, you could have
had a will, for instance.
and you can't be like Adesica about it. When you say, oh, let's write a will. Oh, I don't have a house, so why am I writing a will? Oh, I don't have a car. No, but you have music. You recorded music.
You have something.
That's property. But you don't know this because you've not spoken to someone like me.
Don't let me speak in tongues on this podcast. I beg you. So you're talking about rights, which I don't think a lot of creatives understand what rights they have from a IP perspective, from a collaboration perspective. As a creative person with a product that you sell, a product that you are intending to put out, a product that maybe you want to collaborate on, what are the general rights that people should be looking out for, and say that if that doesn't happen, or if that happens, I know that my right is being infringed on?
So essentially, it's like, first of all, the first thing you need to know is that once you create in a fixed format, copyright is automatic. You have copyright. So you write a piece of paper, it's fixed, there's copyright. You sing in a voice note, it's fixed, there's copyright. You take a camera with your phone, make a video, it's copyright, it's automatic, right? You take a picture, copyright. Now, anything that you've created in that moment and someone uses it without your permission, so far as without your consent,
right,
there's a problem. So if someone lifts your photograph from your Instagram page and uses it for something commercial purposes,
it's copyright.
Yeah, you have to have a conversation. Right? If someone removes your tag from a picture, it's a conversation.
Interesting.
Yeah, if someone uses my image, it's a conversation.
But people don't know that. People think that, if you have not gone to go and register something,
people know
it's
that.
not copyright.
I mean, the people I represent know that.
No, of course. I'm not talking about the people you represent, because people you represent, they have sense, right? They know what's up. They know what's in the game. I'm talking about the general masses, right? I'm talking about, look, even just as you said, look, I've got a picture. I collaborated with somebody. There's always a question around, okay, somebody asked me to come and take a picture. That's paid me to take a picture. I've taken a picture. Now they're asking for their files, and I'm only saying to you, I'm only going to give you 10 images. What's the conversation around that? Is that correct?
So that conversation is something that you should have before. Everybody should sign an agreement before, because that might be a business practice for the photographer.
Right.
So it's either you that you are hiring the photographer, or the photographer, one of you has the responsibility to tell, look, you're only paying for 10 images that will be edited. I'm not going to give you my raw files. The reason why the photographer can say that is because he owns copyrights in those images. You that
Because
you're,
he took it.
yeah, you that you're paying for it, you don't own it. So if you want the pictures, then you sign an agreement to own it.
And you pay more.
Yep.
I bring this up because I hear this
Yeah,
a lot of times,
and that's why, like,
and it always causes an argument because the person who's being photographed automatically just assumes
that it's your
that
picture.
it's
Nah,
their
nah,
picture. I paid for it. It's mine, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Nah,
but
nah, nah.
there are rights.
I mean, there are arguments, in the Copyright Act where there's the personal use conversation, where you don't go beyond that for commercial purpose and whatnot. But I usually just advise, just sign an agreement, bro, before sign it.
And just be done with it.
Yeah, just sign an agreement. It's not gonna cost you anything. Just sign an agreement.
Do you feel like in Nigeria specifically, we have? I'm not talking about our legal justice system, because we know kind of have an idea of how it works. But in terms of the entertainment space itself, because it's also it's a bit niche. I think it is. Do you feel like there is quick judgment, or there is a quickness in how things are resolved, things
So
like copyright and trademarking, of creative IP? Are things like that quick to resolve, or is there still more work that needs to be done, to encourage it?
Definitely more work that needs to be done. But we do a lot of alternative dispute resolution. So there's a lot of mediation going on. There's a lot of arbitration going on.
Right.
Not as fast as we want it, but we're pushing, right? And that's why, like, we're assembling. I call the lawyers Avengers. We're assembling the lawyers because once you start educating the industry begins to know. You begin to test these cases. Then we can now go to the courts and say, look, we need to change this. One of the things that we're pushing with the ministry, which the ministry of Creative Economy is actively working on. We're pushing, policies to see how we can establish an IP court, right? So things that moves faster, like something like the industrial courts where you can get things done like
quickly.
So
It's also niche to IP conversation.
Yeah. So
There's
we're
niche to
pushing
that.
for it.
Right.
We're pushing for it. Hopefully, maybe in the next 4 years, it happens.
Hopefully.
But yeah, and I tell people, like, the entertainment industry has a unique soft power that we don't use. I'm a lawyer. Nobody knows me. So it's just like when I'm talking, it's just like, all right, sure. But if a big celebrity, for example, that has the power says, yo, president, we need this done. They will even get into the presidential house before me. So it's just like, what are you saying to those people? Like, this is not the year to be having conversation of, oh, piracy is killing us. It has been killing us, right? But there are other ways that we can fix it quickly, So that's the approach that I take in terms of that. So, but now we really just rely on alternative dispute resolution. So 99% of my cases never get to court. We do it,
Find a spot that is comfortable, or not necessarily comfortable, but find a spot that settles the matter for everyone, and then we can all move forward.
Definitely.
That's really interesting. So in terms of the legal space within, or the legal aspect within the entertainment space in Nigeria, is there a platform? Is there a community of entertainment lawyers? Is there some sort of association? I'm talking about access, because look, if you don't know, you don't know. You don't have to start asking this person to, find out, how do I get this, and this is going on with me, who do I talk to? Even if you have a lawyer friend, entertainment law is also a niche, it's a niche practice as well. So is there any platform, any society, is there anything that people can access to get information, even a directory can get information about who do I contact that is specific to this aspect of the industry that can help me or not?
So we're building it.
Okay.
We're building it, and thanks to the African creative market, it's something that is currently being worked on. So the Global Creative Legal Summit, actively working on that. Hopefully, the next time we're having this conversation, I can tell you to go to www or something. But
That's so.
yeah. At the moment, what we're doing is we've started the summit where we're gathering everybody together. So the first thing is to platform and begin to show the capacity that we have. Then we now move to building capacity, which is like training.
Yes.
Because we have, so tomorrow we're launching a platform where lawyers can go and get trained for the industry specifically, because we have a capacity problem. We still have very few lawyers working in the industry.
Yes.
So, and one of the biggest problems is that they don't have access to education. So we're trying to decentralize that so they have affordable access to education. Then from that, maybe at the end of the year, actually, maybe you should give me the challenge. At the end of the year, we're going to have a directory.
Maybe. So that's what I'm saying. Like, even if it's just an online directory, for instance.
So I'll work on that.
Because that doesn't really require too much. That's basically like a landing page or something,
All
right?
She's challenging me. We're going to do that. So next time you have this
right
conversation
now.
with me, I'll tell you the direction.
Because the creatives need that, not necessarily, in fact, so a lot of them need hand holding, but I think more importantly, they need the guidance, right? And they need that information. And again, I think I'm going to also challenge you as well, just to, on the platform, simple things like how to register, or why, or what kind of content you should be registering, what kind of content you can trademark. Just simple enough information that they can look at one page and digest and move on and know that, okay, at least I got that information and I can go further and what's the word, explore or discover or find out for myself.
I'll tell you something interesting though. We also set up an NGO called the Center for Creative Rights and Advocacy, where we're giving free legal aid to creatives that can't afford it, and also for education on legal rights for creatives. So that's started. We're going to popularize it also and do a lot of storytelling around it so people can get
social
awareness
media.
to that.
Social media.
But you challenged me for the directory for lawyers, so we're going to do that.
I
but
love
right now, officially saying it that there's a center that provides legal aid for creatives that we've set up, and hopefully people.
So I'm going to reiterate your 4 lessons, because you said get a lawyer.
Yep.
Get an entertainment lawyer.
Yep.
Listen to your lawyer.
Yeah.
And then pay your lawyer.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Foza, for stopping by. It's important to have these conversations in a way that people, like I said, can digest, can find what makes sense to them, and then take it further and hopefully get education and hopefully protect themselves and their work. So thank you for stopping by.
Very much.
And I will be looking out for that directory.
Yes, please.
Awesome. You're watching
much.
Find Your Alpha podcast once again, and I am loving these tidbits of gems that we're getting on the podcast. Wonderful conversation, and see you in the next one.
All right.